Combine the warm milk, sugar, and water with yeast and let that sit for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, you're going to take a little bit of flour along with the recommended salt, and you're going to start mixing that together. So just give that a good, just quick mix together. And then we're going to go ahead and mix the melted butter, melted, softened, things like that. I like to melt it. Some people just say like soften it, but just mix that all together. Like, so this is just 1 cup of flour here that we're just giving this a good mix through just to incorporate it before we incorporate the rest of the ingredients. Now it's time to add our yeast mixture to the rest of everything else we've just been mixing for a little while. So just give that a good quick mix up. And now we're going to go ahead and start adding the rest of our flour 1 cup at a time. So 1 cup, mix it up. I like to do all this by hand. You won't really be seeing many mixers. I used to do it by a mixer, but man, I just love doing it by hand. So just nice and slow and steady so you're not swishing the flour everywhere. It doesn't need to be quick or anything like that. But as you can see, just the rest of the flour is being incorporated. And you will notice that it's starting to get a little stiffer. And at some point, I realized that it's just easier to start using my hand to incorporate the rest of it. So I just start mixing it all together nice and slow. I love working with the dough. So this is like just really therapeutic for me, and the whole kneading process too. Because once this is all incorporated here, once it's nice and incorporated, I'm going to start kneading it for anywhere from 3 to 6 minutes. And I do it right here in the bowl. I don't even take it out. I don't add, on a floured surface or anything like that. I make it myself nice and easy for myself. So as you can see, I've already been kneading it. The dough is looking fantastic, but you really do want to hand knead it. You can knead it in the mixer, but I like to hand knead it. This dough is beautiful. It's kind of like supple, and it's just like, if you can easily shape it into like a ball like that, then this dough is a good bread dough. It's nice and going to be a really nice soft bread. Just beautiful. All right, so now I'm putting a little bit of oil in the bowl, squishing it around, and then you want to coat both sides of the dough with that oil, not slather or anything, just a tiny, tiny coat of it, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and cover it and let it rise for 1 to 2 hours, somewhere around there. I let it rise in the oven. I had preheated it to 200, turned it off, and now place it in there to rise. Now look at that beautiful rise. Ooh, always makes me shiver. All right, now we punch it down. That's really stress relieving too. You just kind of shape it out, get it out of that bowl. Just real quick, play with the dough a little bit, have a little fun, right? Okay. All right, so now we are going to go ahead and grease the pan that we are going to cook it in, because this is going to be the second rise. And you really don't want to forget to grease it with butter, oil, something. Do not forget to grease the pan. Then shape it into the pan. I like to just kind of, shove it in there, make sure it's all in the corners and everything. And just make sure it's going to be a nice, even second rise, because after this second rise, we will be baking. So make sure it's as even as possible. Cover again, and then let it rise about an hour. So there's that rise. And a quick tip, I put a little bit of flour on top just so it doesn't stick to my towel. Sometimes the dough has stuck to the towel, but I put a tiny bit of flour up top just to make sure the dough doesn't stick to the towel while it's rising. Okay, it's risen. So now we're going to bake it. This is the most beautiful bread I think I've ever made. Now this is sandwich bread. I want to show you guys a tip I didn't actually say. About 20 minutes in, I put this loosely on top, just like literally like that, just so the top wouldn't burn. But look at this beautiful bread. Okay, now I'm going to show you another trick, which I think is very important to bread making. When done properly, you should be able to just shake it out, because this was all greased and everything. You should be able to just shake it out. You shouldn't have to like pry it out or anything. Shake it out onto here. Now this is sandwich bread. Look. That's legit sandwich bread. It is thick, okay? So, anyway, but this is a really important part. You have to put it on its side, okay? And this is a really crucial part to you want to let it cool completely before even touching it so that it can continue baking. Or rather, it doesn't continue baking, but it properly like sets and cools and all that good stuff. So, man, it's like the best loaf of bread I've ever made. But this is the bread that we're looking for. A lot of people are always like, I'm looking for legit sandwich bread. Well, this is it. And I'm going to put a link to this recipe that I use for this. I mean, first time doing it and it came out like this. Beautiful. Okay. I've made sandwich bread from other recipes that were similar to this. Okay. From a couple books that I have mainly. But this one is a recipe that I found online that I wanted to give to you guys and make sure that it was actually tested and good. This is foolproof. Anybody can do this. Okay. It is not hard. It's really just time consuming. You can do it. Go to the recipe down below and just do it. Few ingredients. So delicious. A little bit of time and effort. Make your own bread at home. Thank you all so much for watching. Conquer Tomorrow, Preparing Today. Talk to you later. Bye.